a special edition of First and 12. The expanded college football playoffs. What Big 12 teams have the best shot? Can both Utah and BYU make it? And who goes on to win it all? Our hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry on KSL News Radio and the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another edition of First and 12 right here this week on the KSL Sports Zone with General Conference. Mitch Harper and I right here on your dial at 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Mitch Harper, of course, is the BYU insider for KSLSports.com and the host of Cougar Sports Saturday, and probably the best in the market. Not probably, best in the market when it comes to covering the Cougs. And so you can hear me with JJ, with Jeremiah Jensen every day on the KSL Sports Zone in the afternoon. But we've got tons to talk about. Mitch, it's our second hour on a beautiful Sunday where neither BYU nor Utah are playing this weekend. And here we are trying to twiddle our thumbs and figure out what to do with ourselves. We still have to work. That's the point. We didn't know what to do. We thought we'd take time with our families. No such thing.
And so. that was the thing too for BYU and Utah this week. It was a work-like week. And, and that was the messaging clearly from Kalani Sitake. As you know, he's been salty this whole year on his press conferences with the media, and nothing was different this week in a bye, but. Still, there was some interesting commentary from Kalani as they're 5-0 riding high after a hot start.
Yeah, Kalani, I wanted to ask you, what have been your impressions of how Jake Retzloff is just preparing each and every week as these weeks stack up and how he's operating, away from the field as a leader in this program?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I think he's working really well with the quarterback room and, in terms of the offense, I think he's starting to really come into his own, starting to feel really, really comfortable with everything, the timing of all of it, and it could get better. But I like where he's at right now, and I like where his mindset is. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing great things from him. We asked him to do a little bit more running last game, especially in the first half, and he did a great job for us. So he's willing to do whatever it takes, and I like the dynamic of that quarterback room. I like having Gary in there with his experience and Micaiah Hillstead and Trayson Bourget and the rest of the group. I mean, they work really nicely together with A-Rod and Mitchell, with Matt Mitchell.
On the defensive side, you got 10 sacks, 27 tackles for loss through 5 games, a big uptick in that production. How much is that just simply the buy-in now that the players have had into the scheme, the knowledge? Like, what are you seeing as just the biggest differences from years past?
I think it's a combination of a bunch of factors, and you mentioned them. I mean, that we have a great coaching staff on offense and defense and special teams. And so I think the key probably having a lot of veterans helps out too, leaders, and that they're in year 2 of the system, understanding it now, and that's hard. That's difficult if you want to put in a system that's going to be effective. And I think now Jay and the rest of the defensive staff they basically have a lot of things that are available for them. I mean, the last call was something that was recommended to Jay from General Guilford, who understands the entire defense. And so when you have all these coaches that are giving their insight during the game and making adjustments, it's really cool that we have guys that are able to do that on both sides of the ball, and it's working really nicely right now.
Thanks, Mitch. We'll take some more questions from Jake Hatch and then Kevin Reynolds.
Kalani, you mentioned that Connor's going to be. Kalani, you mentioned that Connor may be out, obviously against the Arizona Wildcats, but wanted to get your thought. Are you going to spend this 2 weeks essentially reworking the interior of your offensive line, or is Sonny Makasini going to be your starting center for the time being?
Yeah, I think we'll see what we can do with the group. I trust TJ to get the get the center position right, and have all our guys up there doing well. I mean, I don't think when we had our O-line from the beginning of the season, not a lot of people saw that we used Sonny and Austin Leusa and Sonny Makasini, and then even in the Kansas State game, not a lot of people recognize that Bruce Mitchell was a starter there at guard. So we have capable players. It's just a matter of what gives us our best 5 and who's the one that's going to be snapping the ball. So we have some depth there. I think TJ can figure it out, and I trust him.
Speaking on the offense as a whole, is there any particular focus you will take in terms of, I guess, practice this week, emphasis you'll be making on offensive improvement this week?
Yep, the whole team getting better. That's everybody, and I mean it's when you have to look at the whole overall offense together as a playing without your two top running backs and making some changes at O-line, things like that. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, but I thought the guys did a great job as far as um, assignments and guys doing the right thing, proper technique. I think it worked out pretty nicely. So you just got to trust the guys get their job done and trust our coaches to do it.
Hey, Kalani, I don't think we got to talk a lot about it after last game, but when you think back to the 2021 Baylor game and compared to what you saw last week, how much do you think you've grown as a program just in terms of the depth and physicality, trying to build that up over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been trying to do since we got, invited to the conference is to really have this a specific effort at trying to get bigger and more physical and stronger. I mean, if you look at the front, I thought we did that on O-line, D-line. Thought defensive line handled the run really nicely. The front seven was really nice against the run. I thought quarterback. I thought Sawyer Robertson, quarterback, made some really good throws. I mean, he it wasn't like, I think there's one play where we had a mistake in coverage, but everything else he was just trying to he was fitting the ball in some tight windows. It wasn't like there was that one touchdown that they had where it was a wide open guy. But for the most part, I thought he made some really timely throws and some accurate throws. And so, there's still some opportunities for us to improve as a team, and one of them is locking it down. I thought you have to give Baylor some credit, man. They fought back and got back into the game when we thought we had it under control. So,
and where do you think Darius Lasser has grown the most from last year to this year, now in his second year in the program?
Yeah, he was good last year too. I mean, he's a solid receiver and tons of talent, great ball skills, and so I just got to keep working because this whole team needs to stay humble, stay hungry. That's going to be our key, So we got to enjoy the win, come back today, and let's get back to the criticizing our guys and seeing what they did wrong, and let's fix it, and what can we improve on, and then praise them for the things that they did well. But great opportunities for us to learn and get better. Darius has done a great job. He's looking forward to getting better. And this week we've got to find a way to improve as a program. That's been our approach every week, and we just happen to be 5-0 as we're doing this. So we got to stay humble and keep working hard.
Yeah, Kurt, you might have just answered it right there, but I was going to ask about that hungry and humble mentality. How do you kind of focus on keeping the guys hungry and humble as wins start piling up, and obviously the attention from the outside is the magnifying glass getting a little bit bigger on this group?
Yeah, that's our job. We got to keep them that way, and just remembering that not a lot of people believed in them from the beginning. So I'm not really worried about proving doubters wrong. We knew from before preseason that we had a special team. So we're just going through the motions of terms of playing the season. But man, these guys are finding ways to get better, and I like coaching them. So everybody else it's not about proving everybody wrong. It's about proving ourselves right. So that's what our focus is going to be on, and staying humble. But we got to still stick to being aggressive and trying to find ways to become even better. That's the goal.
Yeah, Coach, staying on the topic of being hungry and humble, what's made Crew Wakely these last couple of weeks so hungry? I think he had an interception, then a sack, and before the Baylor game was tied for leading the team in tackles.
Yeah, I think the defense is about everybody doing their 111th, and when your moment comes and there's opportunities, you seize it. And so very in terms of looking at, he did a great job. So very opportunistic for him to make plays when they come his way. But without the other 10 doing their job, it's not easy. I mean, it becomes easier for him to do his. So I'm really proud of the way he's played. Proud of the way that he keeps working every week to get better, and a lot of guys can learn from him and how, his approach, which is just put your nose down and go to work. And so we've proven that we're going to reward guys that do all the right things during the week, and if you do it right in practice Monday through Friday, it's probably going to show up on Saturday.
There's Kalani Sitake. Mitch, you get to chat with the man every week, and sometimes you're in the very same room. Sometimes it's just over Zoom. I feel like the weeks that you're just over Zoom, it might be nice just so that you don't have to get the total death stare, just the computer death stare from Kalani. But the reality is that, we've heard this message all year long about how, no one believes in BYU but them. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a special group. We knew we had it. The thing is like things could change in a second, right? But I think that Kalani's been very consistent all year long about the fact that this team has felt different, and you've been following this team very closely, so have I, and it does feel different from last year's team.
They definitely are, and I have full confidence that they are going to a bowl game. There's no doubt in my mind about that. They're not going to go on a 7-game losing streak, but I'm curious to see what's that next step, because now all the film is out there. These teams are going to know your personnel, your tendencies with this, iteration, and how do you kind of have that next gear that keeps teams on their heels? Because you would say in that Baylor game, in that second half a week ago, they were stonewalled. They could do nothing offensively, right. And Baylor adjusted with Dave Aranda, who's a good defensive mind, and they just shut down BYU. And I do agree with Kalani that the criticisms about conservative play calling were wrong. I honestly came out of that Baylor game and did not feel that way. I just thought BYU executed poorly, and that's where I've got questions about BYU, because they've given you these stretches against P4 competition where they go for about 12 to 15 minutes, a quarter worth, and it don't look pretty. Even that Kansas State game that was so brilliant for BYU for the last 20 minutes or so, or 25 minutes of that game, the first 15, 20 were not that great. But, right. BYU's just got to play some complete football. I think Kalani's got to be excited that they still have that opportunity in front of them to put together some complete 60 minutes. And that's the challenge in front of them. And it starts this week with the Arizona Wildcats as the Cougs look to maintain that undefeated record. We got to take another break, though. On the other side, we'll get to some more BYU and Utah conversation and check in on things in the Big 12 Conference. And First and 12 is brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Get the freshest fruits and vegetables from local farms and your favorite local brands. Macy's, happy shopping. More First and 12 coming up next.